Hello everyone. In this video we will see about how to write pseudocode. So think of pseudocode as a rough draft or outline of an algorithm, okay, which is written in plain English or your any native language, okay. It's like explaining a recipe without worrying about the exact measurements or cooking techniques, okay. So here consider this from this, that is imitation or false. Pseudo means imitation or false. Pseudocode is not actual code that a computer can directly execute. It's a human readable representation. And next is instructions. It provides a step-by-step guide for solving a problem just like the code. And then its goal is to describe the logic of an algorithm at a high level, focusing on the overall flow. Okay. And benefit of this, it helps programmers think through the problem without getting bogged down in the syntax of a specific programming language. Then its similarity to the code is it shares some characteristics with the code, like which is using variables. Okay. And then and control flow statements, that is example if else or loops. And then there is no specific language for this. You can use any language or style that makes sense to you as long as it is clear and understandable. And then transformation, once you have a well defined pseudocode, you can translate it into actual code in the programming language. Okay, so this is how to write the pseudocode or key points from the pseudocode. So here you will be so guidelines for writing pseudocode is one statement per line. Okay, a fundamental rule for pseudocode is to write only one statement per line. Okay, which enhances this readability and clarity. So for example, you could see here pseudocode for calculating the salary. You can see here read name, hourly rate, hours worked, deduction rate. And then second step is gross pay is how we will be calculating gross pay and how the deduction is calculated, then the net pay. Then you will be writing what is name and what is gross pay, what is deduction, what is the um, net pay, right? So here in this example, each line which will be representing a single action. So that is, first you will be reading the input values, then calculating the gross pay, deductions, net pay, and then finally writing the output values. Okay, so that is the first step. And then second step is, and before this, what is the benefit of writing this pseudocode is it improved readability. That is, each line focuses on a specific task, making it easier to follow the program's logic, right? And then you can because of this or based on this, you can do easier debugging. So isolating statements helps identify errors more efficiently. And then better maintainability, so changes can be made more easily when code is well structured. Okay, so these are the main benefits of writing the pseudocode. So here next, capitalize initial keyword. Second step is capitalize initial keyword. Okay, so to distinguish control flow statements and input or output operations from regular text, so we capitalize the specific keywords. Okay, so common keywords which included are for input or output, you will be writing read, write, print, like that. And then control flows if, else, while, repeat. So those are the examples of capitalizing the initial keyword. And then next step is to uh, indent to show hierarchy. So indentation is crucial for visually representing the structure of your pseudocode. It clarifies which statements belongs to specific control flow blocks. Okay, so sequence is statements are executed sequentially one after the other. So selection, if then else structures for decision making. And then looping, so while and repeat until for repetitive actions. Okay, and then next, in multi-line structures, to ensure the logical flow of your pseudocode, it is essentially to properly terminate multi-line structures. So this provides clarity and prevents errors during code translation. Okay, for example, if you are using if condition, then then the statements to be executed if conditions, that is your command line, and then end if. You will be, for if statement there will be always an end of statement. Okay. So, and other common structures that require ending markers are while loops. So you will be having an end while there, and repeat, end repeat also is there. So function for or procedure definitions are there, no? For example, end function you have, end procedure you have. So wherever end statement is required, you have to utilize this. So end the multi-line structures. And then finally, language independence. So, a key characteristic of effective pseudocode is its independence from any specific programming language. So, the goal is to express the algorithm's logic in a human readable form that can be easily understood by programmers with different language backgrounds. Okay. So, you have to avoid using syntax specific keywords or constructs. So, you have to focus on clear and concise language which accurately represents the intended operations. So for example, instead of writing array of I, so which might imply an array in certain languages, right? So use the ith element of array, like that you have to use. Okay, array of I only in certain languages it is being used. Then we'll see what are the advantages and disadvantages of the pseudocode. So first, it is easy to create and modify. It can be easily typed in a word processor and modified as needed without worrying about the syntax errors. Okay, and it is simple to understand, so it uses a natural language and basic structures, making it accessible to both programmers and non-programmers. And then it is a structured approach. It promotes structured programming concepts, leading to well organized and efficient code. And it's not tied to a specific programming language, allowing for flexibility in implementation. So these are the advantages of pseudocode. And then disadvantages is there is no standardized format. There is no universally accepted standard for pseudocode, which can lead to inconsistencies between different programmers, and then it cannot be executed. So pseudocode is a design tool and cannot be directly run on the computer. Okay. So without strict syntax rules, there is a risk of misunderstandings or multiple interpretations. And next, I'll see some examples of writing a pseudocode to add three numbers and display the result. Calculate sum and product of two numbers. Input examination marks and award grades according to the following criteria. So greater than or equal to 80 distinction, greater than or equal to 60 first class, greater than or equal to 50 second class, less than 40 means fail. So which means you have three different problems. For these three different problems you have to write the pseudocode. We will be seeing one by one. So first is pseudocode to add three numbers. So here first you'll be declaring the variable declaration. So four integer variables are sum, num1, num2 and num3 to store the sum and three input numbers respectively. And then second is input, the accept statement reads three values from the user and stores them in num1, num2 and num3. And then calculation step, some variable is assigned the result of adding num1, num2 and num3. And finally output, the print statement, print sum. Okay, this statement displays the calculated sum on the output, and then finally indicates the end of the program. Okay, and then second problem is you have to calculate the sum and product of two numbers. Again you will be having variable declaration, so sum product num1 num2 to store the results and then input value. So here you are having four real type variables. Second, this output displays a message asking the user to input two numbers, and then accept statement reads two values from the user and stores them in num1 and num2. Then you will be doing calculation. Some variable is assigned to the sum of num1 and num2, and the product variable is assigned the product of num1 and num2. So output, the program displays the calculated sum and then product. Okay, and then finally end the program. So third problem is input examination marks and award grades. We have seen what are the student marks, and you have to assign a corresponding grade based on the provided criteria. Okay, if you remember, If that is, if mark is greater than or equal to 80, you have to display it as distinction, right? And then if mark is greater than or equal to 60 but less than 80, then first class is displayed. If mark is greater than or equal to 50 but less than 60, second class is displayed. If mark is less than 50, that is failed, will be displayed. Then finally you have to end the program. This is the pseudocode examples. Okay. Then we'll see what is a single line and multi-line commands. So commands, what are commands? We'll see. Commands are non-executable statements in a program which provide additional information to human readers. They enhance code readability and maintainability. You have two types here. It is a single line commands and multi-line commands. So single line commands will be started with double slash. You could see here in double slash and continue until the end of the line. Okay, so they are useful for a short explanation or notes. You could see in this example. Okay, these are single line commands. This is used for short explanations. Okay, and then you will be having a multi-line commands. So these commands start with slash asterisk and then end with asterisk slash. Okay, they can span multiple lines and are suitable for longer explanations or commands that cover multiple lines of code. So you could see here in this example where is the command line starting and ending. So these are the multi-line command. Okay, and the difference between the single line commands and multi-line commands. So we have seen how it has been represented, right? So actually it has been interchanged. You have to write test. So this has been uh, your single line starts with double slash and multi-line is the other way. Okay, and all words and statements written between this slash or single line comments between the slash, right, that will be ignored, that will not be executed. And then comments ends wherever enter is pressed and new line starts. Okay, so you can use, for example, if you're programming for a Fibonacci, you can just make a, if you do not know the code, or if you want to, if you're writing multiple codes, no, for denoting that or for remembering that, you can just add a command. Okay, as by using double slash. So for example, you can see here program for Fibonacci or whatever program you're writing for adding two numbers, like that, whatever, however line, if you put it in the command line, that will not be executed. That is for the human reference, can use like that. Okay, so thank you.